Swapped on the Yamaha tank. Oop, there we go. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Alright, let's just get right to it. I got engine number 1 firing off. Not a big deal. I did have to swap the ignition out of this guy and put it in here because the one in there wasn't working. So good news. I'll have a future video to figure out how to fix that. Yeah, so now all that's left is everything else, right? I want to wire it up properly because it's just baling wire together right now. I want to figure out if I can get this key switch to work. Spoiler alert, stick to the end, and I'll actually ride this thing, get it all situated. I'm going to try to get this thing running and riding with whatever I have on the shelves. So I'm only able to find one lever. So depending on which works and which doesn't, I'm probably just going to have either clutch or front brake. And I tested, I think the front brake works, but I don't have one cable and one lever. So we'll figure that out because I can ride it. I can either ride it with just the front brake and I won't have a clutch. We'll just run it. Or I'll have a clutch, but then I'll just use my feet to brake. Probably not the safest option, but I do want to get this thing on the road and running around just to see, again, trying to shake out everything I need to actually buy before I buy it. So there we are. Let's get to it. So I got a bunch of wiring on the way. Ordered that from Amazon. That should be here soon. Like I said, it's probably only a dozen wires total, so I got a 12 wire kit. So that's going to be pretty cool. I ordered a wiring kit off of Amazon, and it was like 20, not even 25 bucks. 11 rolls of wire. I only need blue, brown, green. And then I'll use red for the battery, white and yellow for the high beam, low beam, and then black because everything on this bike is black. All the power wires to all the lights are black, which is weird. So I'll use it for the ground and I guess for the lights. I also have some extra colors which I can use for other builds. So for $20-some, quite stoked on this purchase here. This is the key switch for the bike. It's a pretty simple setup. What you got is the key goes in. Here, let me open it up for you. Let me open it up here real quick. So the key goes in and it pushes against a plunger that makes the connection. Right, so it connects up here and it connects down bottom here. Right, so you can have on, and then when you pull the key out, they're both off. So it's got a pretty cool thing. But what's funny to me is I'm like, you got to be kidding, because you should be able to just basically shove anything in there to make it work. So I didn't get a key with this, so I made my own once I figured out how this works. And that is there's a slot. So I took a broken drill bit and I welded a little bit on the end here, ground down this bit, because once it goes in and you turn it, hopefully you can see that, once you go in and you turn it, it'll lock or stay in like key would. But what's funny to me is I'm like, you could, do you run around Italy stealing every Ducati with a key like this? I don't know, but that's funny. So there's a little brass piece that also goes in here. This is the key goes in. Oh boy, try not to, don't cross thread it. Oh boy, hold please. Okay, so now key goes in. Sorry, yeah, key goes in, turn it, and it's out. Key goes out, and you can see now that the connections aren't made. Right? Key in, key out. So that's a cool little thing. Yeah, so I figure I'll do the ignition through the top one, and I'll run the lights through the bottom one. That way when the key's in, the lights will work, the ignition will work, key out, and neither will work. So there you go. So the way it's supposed to work is there's like a kill switch that goes under the headlight here. Which, again, weird thing to me, because I'm like, the last thing, if I'm panicking and everything's going wrong, I'm not reaching all the way around here for some kill switch under the light, but that's fine. I couldn't find a switch small enough, so I just, there. So I just put a on-off toggle in the spot. So backwards is running, forward is off, and my reasoning is when I'm panicking and shove my hand under there, all I gotta do is push forward. So we'll see how that works. But yeah, this will just ground the ignition out and shut the bike off. So you'll need to turn the key on. So you'll need to turn the key on and have the ignition on for it to run. Hopefully not a lot of people are running around stealing Ducati Broncos. My box of parts. This is not original, but it's close enough. You've got your high-low beam switch, and then this is your horn. Meep, 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 meep. So with that, we talked about this before. Brown wire going out is the lights. And then coming out is, I got white for low beam, yellow for high beam. So that's how that's going to work. Ignition. Ignition's here. So we talked about is green's ignition, brown is lights, and then blue's for horn. Also for charging, I found out. So if I get a battery for this, it'll hook to the blue. So blue coming out. Also, I thought this thing was like a cool, I don't know, fuse block, but it's just a junction box. So green, I don't understand it. It's supposed to go right there, right? So it'll go right there, and then so green to green, brown to brown, blue to blue, and that runs up all up into the headlight here. Again, into the switch. To make everything work. So I'll get that all together and we'll be done with that. So this is a little bit of fun here. Like I was saying before, right? We're gonna have a little high beam, low beam action. So I just hooked up a 12 volt bulb because I don't have anything 6 volt. So it'll work, just super dim. But you know, it still works. Here we go. High beam, low beam, high beam, low beam. Yay me. What else? Okay, so I scrounged a lever, a clutch lever from one of my GS's, one of my Suzuki's. So I just found whatever cable I had laying around, cut it up, got a cable end for it, and again I just made it work. It's fun. So it's funny, I went through like 3 or 4 throttle cables that I had laying around every time I buy a carb off Amazon. So I figured, oh, I'll just use this, and they're way too thin, and every time I applied some pressure to get the clutch or the brake either one to engage, right, to get the clutch to work or the brake to work, 3 or 4 pulls and I just snapped the cables. That was a whole lot of fun, let me tell you. Like I said before, we're going to go with clutch. Don't really need brakes, whatever. I got feet, so we'll, I don't know if it's better or worse, but we're going to have a working clutch, no brakes, and just so I can get this thing up and down the street. I think that's it. Right? Oh, I flushed the fuel tank out. It's kind of rusty in there, not great, but flushed it out, flushed some gas through it. It works, everything's fine, except the petcock leaks. So that's good too. That's great. We'll address that too, but nothing that will stop me from the test ride. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we're ready. I'm gonna put the ignition back in, plug those wires back in, and we'll be ready to go. Ready? Okay, here we go. On, ignition on, kick, start. If I'm panicking and everything's going wrong, I'm not reaching all the way around here for some kill switch under the light button.